Hi y'all, welcome to my channel. This is You Too Can Be Great. I got my hair did. What y'all think? Tell me what you think. It took a long time for me to take this shit out. But this is the Real Housewives of Potomac season 6, episode 14. Tossing salads and spilling tea bags recap. Okay, so first of all, I will direct you to go and rewatch my reviews I did for the reunion. And I did for last season when I said what I said. I said that Candiace ain't gonna change. I said that she deserved that ass whooping that she got because she was begging for it. I said that she had a loud ass mouth that deserves to get her ass whooped. And I told y'all that after this whole fight with Monique and after this whole boo-hooing and having tissues in the... It was just so traumatizing. It was just too much for me. And I just don't know how someone can just do something like that, you know? I said all that shit when people were down in the comments saying, excuse me, there's no excuse for physical violence. And I said, bitch, I'm not above that. There's some people that need to get their ass whooped because their mama didn't do it right. And Candiace was doing all that shit talking and all that hand waving and everybody said nothing. And I told y'all that Candiace has not changed. While I love her reads, and while I will call a spade, and while I read every single one of them equally, I'm gonna say what I said because she ain't changed. Now, we get back to the tossing salad fight, that continuation of last week's episode. And of course, Candiace and Mia still arguing. Candiace is still relaying to Mia that she basically is a stripper. She needs to go and get her pimp. G's over there, you know, hearing all the screaming. Salads are being tossed. The dudes are outside wondering what the hell's going on. And then Mia's over here saying, don't talk about my mom, doing the pity party. And Candiace got so angry that she started crying. You can see the hurt in her face. The thing about Candiace is, Candiace will go after you and read you and talk shit to you before she says to you, what you said hurt my feelings really bad. I did not appreciate it because I'm working hard. Why would you come as somebody who I invited to support me, somebody who I never talk shit about, somebody who I defended when you first came on the show as a new cast member, and the first thing you want to do is say something negative because you're doing better in your business as I'm still building my bitch. You're supposed to be a support system. You're older than me with your big ass face, so you're supposed to be the one to help me with your handsome ass get to where I want to be, not beat me down. So Candiace didn't want to say that. Now, as Mia's over here now looking for getting mad, she's talking to G and she's like, you know, she's telling G that Candiace is an asshole. G's like, do you want to go? Do you want to leave? And everybody's trying to get up in Candiace's face and tell her that she shouldn't be talking about Mia's mama, that does she know her past? Does she know her story? Candiace is my spirit in that point because when I'm mad, I don't give a fuck. She was like, I don't give a fuck. I don't care what her past is. If she talks shit to me, I'm going to talk shit to her back. It's da-da-da back and forth because it's been going back and forth. I mean, Candiace did tell her, you should have never gone up to my mom and asked my mom the things that you did. Now, I know some people said something like in the comments, what did Mia do asking Dorothy when she asked Dorothy about the video and stuff like that? What did she do that's incorrect? And I had somebody else say something like, well, it's Dorothy's fault. Dorothy shouldn't have said anything in the first place. You're absolutely right. Dorothy should have never said anything in the first place because she's Candiace's mom and she should have known better. Clearly, the apple don't fall far from the tree because Dorothy don't know what the fuck comes out of her mouth is wrong and Candiace don't know what the fuck comes out of her mouth is wrong. Mia's fault in the whole thing is she was not going to Dorothy to ask how she can support Candiace. She was not going to Dorothy to ask what she can do to make this video shoot better if she thought it was low budget. What she did was she was talking shit and she was asking Dorothy personal questions about what goes on in Candiace and Chris's private life. Is he getting paid for this? What does that have to do with Mia and what goes on in her life? She was being messy. She was being mean. She was being cruel. Mia inserted her ass in her family's business when she asked that fucking question. So Candiace has every right to insert her ass in Mia's business, in her family business. The difference is, if I knew that my mama had that kind of a backstory, bitch, I wouldn't be talking shit to people because I know I have a whole skeleton to be read. Mia don't know that. So now that they're in the corner, and they're talking to each person, he's talking to each person. Ashley's asking about whether Candiace knows the knowledge of Mia's mom. And then Mia and G are in the corner thinking about if they were trying to leave, if they were going to stay. Wendy runs out and says, can you go ahead and convince G to stay and stuff like that? And I'm just like sitting there listening to Mia now get to the point where she's now going to talk to everybody about her pity party while Chris drags Candiace outside to go and cuss her out and basically tell her to shut up because now he's feeling embarrassed. In the midst of all that, Mia does this thing where she says something like, do you know how hard my mother worked for her sobriety? If she hears something like this, somebody calling her low budget, she might relapse. And she'll say something like, do you know that I didn't have my mom in my life? I don't give a fuck. Let me be honest with y'all. I didn't have my mother in my life from the age of 8 years old till I was 21. My mother was not in my life. And I'm not saying, and that hurt me. I felt it because I didn't have a stepmom that treated me the way that I felt that I should have been treated as a kid. She made things difficult for me, and she was not nice in a lot of ways when I was growing up. She would tell me shit like, if your mom was here, she'll bash your head into a wall. If your mom was here, she'll shove your head into a toilet. I can't wait till you get out of here. And my sisters and I had the responsibility of being babysitter, nanny, cook, housekeeper, yard gardener, house painter. We were doing all the chores and everything in the house for everyone there. And she thought that she was doing us a favor when she married my father, as if she didn't choose to have us as stepkids. She felt like we were burdens and she treated us that way. So it was a traumatizing experience for me, and I had to go to therapy for that. There are certain things that I will not make fun of people for. I won't make fun of somebody who has cancer because they didn't choose to. I won't make fun of somebody who got trafficked, who got raped, who got abused because they didn't choose to. I won't make fun of somebody who lost their family member through murder or whatever, or in general, because that's not something you can control. When it comes to somebody doing drugs, I have to be very honest with you. Unless you're a kid that was coerced into doing it and you were a minor, if you were an adult and you were out there smoking crack, doing heroin, doing meth, yes, if you're nice to me, I will be so proud of you about your sobriety. I will be so supportive. I will be your support system. But the moment your ass think that you can talk to me crazy, I will get you, and I will get you where it hurts. Now, people might say, well, that's so mean. Why would you do that? Then my answer is that person who had that history should have known better before they picked a fight with me. You think that I'm going to consider you and your feelings when you didn't consider me at all? When you're an adult and you should know better? Me should have understood that fact. Why would you go after Candiace, the loudest mouth in the house, when your ass was just so readable? Okay? That shit is not okay. And for her to sit up there and say something like, if my mom relapses, I'm gonna fuck up Candiace. Bitch, if your mom relapses, that's gonna be your mom's responsibility. Do not blame somebody else for your mom's choices. Yes, addiction is an illness, but she has to be strong in her spirit to know that there are people out there that are gonna talk shit. Y'all know how many crackhead jokes are out there and how many heroin and meth jokes. Y'all listen to Dave Chappelle. So if you're not a thick-skinned person that you're gonna go out there and pick it up, then that means that you haven't really decided in your core what it is that's your trigger that's causing you to go out there and seek that type of solace when you're in trouble. Mia needs to be held accountable and be held accountable by what she does, what she says, and she needs to hold her mom accountable for the things that she does and stop making excuses for her. It would not be Candiace's fault if her ass can't take a joke. And Candiace didn't say, your mama's the crackhead bitch, your mama's the drug addict bitch, she said your mama is low budget, and akin to you calling her business low budget, and also the fact that she was talking to you about you going to speak to her mama or even inserting yourself in her mama, whatever, in the first place. That was how that came about. It has nothing to do with your mom doing drugs. Yes, you have a past, and I'm sorry, girl, I really am. But don't give me that story when you say something, when you do something bad to me. I'm not gonna sit here and boo-boo cry. And no, you're crying, Candiace is crying, you need to acknowledge her hurt too. You're not the only one that was hurt, bitch. Because Escala said to her, why did you call Candiace's a video shoot low budget? Like, don't you think that's rude? And this bitch said it was low budget. When I was starting my business, it was low budget too. Well, bitch, you weren't there to criticize her or to critique her. You were there as a friend for support. Like, Mia is completely disregarding the error that she made. And that's the part that's making me not empathize with her plight. Until she fixes her mouth and says, you know what? It was disrespectful for me to go to somebody else's mama and ask them how much her husband is being paid, or if the husband's being paid, because that's the business that doesn't pay me. And she should have said, I should have never walked up to Dorothy for the first time and started having that conversation. And the moment that Dorothy started talking dog shit about you, he invited me, I should have had the sense to walk away because that was inappropriate. That's what she should have done. When she did that, when she does that, I will start empathizing with her. Then we have the next day recap. the next day, everybody's recapping what happened. Chris is in the kitchen trying to clean up the kitchen because he didn't see it. All the talent tossed all over the fucking floor. And he also congratulates Ashley on her second pregnancy. Ashley did this whole, it's good to know that you can be the bigger person. Even though we know that Michael's ass was talking shit about Chris during last season. And he started that whole fight that he rose his hand talking about, like he was the one that was being a victim or something like that. Then we have Karen in the other room talking about she don't know what tossing salad is. Lies. Karen, as long as you have been working and that little tongue kiss you gave Ray, you telling me that your ass don't know what tossing salad is? You didn't have that salad tossed all the damn time. You better stop playing. Now we had Robin, Giselle, and Giselle showing up, but the first thing that came into my head is just Giselle. I thought you sent her a mass text saying that your ass weren't going to be there because the invite wasn't appropriate. Did you want Wendy to kiss your ass? Because Wendy didn't do that, so you end up showing up anyway. Then Robin said something in the confessional like, well, Ashley made me feel guilty, and she said that it's supposed to be a trio because now Ashley's trying to insert herself along with the green-eyed bandits, bitch. I see what you're doing. And so she wanted them to come there because she herself don't give a fuck about Wendy, and Wendy has yet to see her say that shit out loud. We'll see it in the reunion. So they show up, and they also show Ashley telling Giselle and Robin about the drama that happened the night before. These bitch came there because as old as they are, they want to be all up in the mess. That's what that is. So they showed up to complain and to insert themselves in the drama that does not involve them. So then Giselle comes up and she goes into her room and she's complaining already about her not having a toilet and how Wendy didn't do right. And then Candiace calls about Chipper like, hey, to fake one and fake two. Candiace, bitch, they were also talking shit at your photo shoot. They just haven't admit that part yet to the full. Wait till you watch it. Now we have Giselle saying that in this group to Candiace, because now they're recapping what happened and what Candiace said to Mia. Giselle was like, in this group, do we talk about mothers? Candiace said, yes, bitch, you do. Y'all didn't say so many shit about Dorothy because they have. Y'all peep that? They have said shit about Dorothy. The only difference is Dorothy doesn't have the same past as Mia's mom's past. So it's the difference. She's not a whole read. So you can only say so much about Dorothy, like her beating Candiace over the head with a purse. Shit like that. Or her paying for Candiace's house because Candiace and her husband couldn't afford it at the time. And so she's paying half the mortgage or half the rent. Shit like that they can say about Dorothy, but they can't go so far as to make fun of her and call her low budget because her ass ain't low budget. She was paying her own daughter and her daughter's husband's mortgage. So we have Candiace saying that if she knew about, Candiace now says that if she knew about Mia's mama's trauma, that she would have read her face, her feet, her shoulders, and every botched experiment that the doctors did to her when they did her plastic surgery. That she wouldn't have gone and called her mother or spent so much time saying your mama, your mama, your mama, because that's a sore subject for her. But Candiace also said, even though she was hurting and crying, that she acknowledged my hurt. And that's what I keep telling y'all. I am not going to pity party Mia until I feel like she's remorseful for the shit that she did. You know why? Because it was on Twitter 2 weeks ago that Mia was out there going after Ascala's mama. She was setting on Twitter saying shit like to Ascala because she wants to insinuate that Ascala's broke and her husband's broke. So she made a comment saying that Ascala and her husband were living in their own mama's house the way that Candiace and Chris were doing. And Ascala went and wrote her back saying, no, unlike the situation you may have created in your mind, my mom lives with me to help me with my kids because I can afford it and because that's what a mom does when she has a good relationship with you. She's already going after somebody else's mama and somebody else's family. So that's the problem why I don't have any sympathy for this bitch. Stop going after people's family if yours is so readable and you're gonna cry when they do it to you. Then we have Wendy coming upstairs to welcome them and whatever the case is. And of course Giselle wants to complain to Wendy, but Wendy's like, I don't give a fuck, bitch. You can complain, use the bathroom downstairs. Here's your shots. We'll see you downstairs. They are on the bus on their way to a restaurant to go and eat. And G's in the corner sleeping. And all of a sudden when he wakes his ass up, all he can talk about is sex, vaginas and shit like that. I'm like, this man is too old to be acting like he's in a high school bus. Man, pick your battles. Go to sleep. You don't need to talk about sex all the time. We know that you saw your wife at a strip club and sex was all your little nasty ass can think of, but take your ass back to sleep. Then they get to Foxy's restaurant and they decide that they're going to have the great vibes only, right? That was the topic, great vibes only. And Ashley decides that she wants to spot the white man behind her for Giselle because she wants Giselle to have an out-of-town strange. And Giselle is like, listen, they're cute, but they ain't for me. And they talk about Michael and where Michael is, and Ashley says that Michael took the baby to work today, and that his assistants actually came in to feed the baby bottles, whatever. But G's instinct, of course, is to go with some sexually explicit comment talking about the assistant breastfed the baby, like you hired a wet nurse or some shit like that. And Ashley's like, no, I bumped a lie. He don't need to do all that. But why are you asking that question, G? Your ass is just as ignorant as your wife. Y'all say some stupid ass shit. Why would that be a question that you ask someone? Is she breastfeeding your baby? What does that do? I feel like you just want to go to a nasty part in your head. You're just being disgusting and freaky. Seriously. Then they find out that the wives of the man, I think, are across the table. So Karen gets up and goes talks to the men and gives them pointers of what they should do. Spend all their money on these women if they want to last as long as her marriage is lasting. And then Ashley decides that she wants to start the drama because drama that they have so far ain't enough. She then asks Chris whether he wanted to come in and help de-escalate the situation between Candiace and Mia while they were arguing and tossing salad at each other. And of course, Giselle peeped that Ashley was being messy. They're all having fun at dinner, and Ashley had to ask the question in a fight that she wasn't even involving her. Ashley's entire storyline in this show has been inserting herself in anything that Candiace has to do because she wants to make herself relevant. Ashley has a personal vendetta against Candiace. Candiace has a personal vendetta against Ashley because Ashley took essentially Monique's side because her and Candiace weren't friends. And Candiace is going to hold that grudge towards her because Monique ain't here for her to hold a grudge towards. So Ashley's going to be the one to speak up and go after Candiace. Plus, she don't like Candiace and how Candiace talk about Michael. So she gonna keep digging and digging and digging to make her feel bad. When that happens, drama starts. And Candiace decides to go ahead and check Ashley. And Chris says something like, I have never said something bad about Michael ever. And they flash forward. She said, yes, you have. And they flash forward to the reunion. And Michael is, Chris, whenever he's addressing Michael's in the room. And he's talking to Michael face to face. And Michael says some stupid shit. But then they flash forward to the shit that Michael's done. And Michael in his scenes is over here talking about his restaurant and how bad it is. And basically talking shit like as if the girls are the ones that are fighting. And of course, Chris says, I have never talked shit about Michael because that's basically what he's like. I don't talk shit about him. I tell him whatever I feel to his face, but I don't go behind his back and run my mouth about his personal business. And Ashley goes, but your wife has, and that's the reason why Michael da-da-da-da-da. I say, Ashley, Michael's ghost feelings are not private, or not present in this situation. Why the fuck are you bringing up his ghost feelings? We don't give a fuck about what Michael feels. His ass ain't here. But of course, Candiace is like, bitch, if you want to start with me, I'm going to give you what you want. And so Candiace starts going after Ashley and saying that she didn't call, because Ashley's like, you called him a slave driver? Candiace is like, no, I didn't say he's a slave driver, but she basically said something relating to that. And then Candiace is like, well, you called my husband white trash. I ain't never called Michael white trash. So then they get to the slave driver comment because Ashley's like, so you calling me a slave? And they're over here arguing about it. And then Ashley decides to bring up the fight that Mia and Candiace have about Candiace putting her finger in people's face. And I said what I said again when Monique whooped Candiace's ass. I said that Candiace put her hands in Monique's face when she was saying, get your hands in my face, get your hands in my face. And Candiace was like, what, you gonna drag me, bitch? And I said it in my review that Candiace put her hand in people's face and Monique was asking her not to. And some people in the comments said, no, she didn't. Candiace didn't put her hand in her face first and da-da-da-da-da because they wanted to defend Candiace because Candiace was boo-hooing and talking about how sorry and how she feels and how she had to go through therapy to get herself together, preparing her fucking lawsuit. And now that Monique ain't here, now that the lawsuit has died, it didn't go nowhere. And now that she didn't get what she wants and she wanted to move on, she started this season by trying to be good, trying to be the nice, happy Candiace. But damn, y'all didn't push so many buttons that the real Candiace has now shown her true colors. Because Candiace has not changed. I said Candiace will always have this mouth. She has a lot of mouth. And she will always keep it. Sometimes her mouth is directed at the right person, and sometimes it's one that needs an ass whooping. But Ashley brought it up and says that, it doesn't seem like she keeps doing the same thing, and she keeps, running her mouth and putting her hand in people's faces. And while this is happening, Chris is trying to stop Candiace from running her mouth because now he's getting embarrassed about what his wife is doing. And Candiace is basically not listening to him, not shutting up, and Chris is feeling embarrassed because if I'm trying to tell my wife, hey, listen, you're going too far, and she ain't doing nothing, then I'm gonna get up and walk away. Chris got up and walked away. Eddie and Wendy's comments and the commentary on the side were the funniest shit ever. Eddie's giving Wendy compliments, asking where the food is, not trying to change the topic and worry about, he wasn't even giving a damn about the little petty ass argument that was going on next to him. Eddie, you know exactly what you do. You better work that shit and do it right. Ascala's husband decides to go outside to go and see where Chris is doing and check up on him, because Candiace was not going to leave that table until she's done with her argument. And Ashley tells Candiace, I think they mentioned some kind of comment about Candiace being a man, or Candiace having a bigger dick or whatever. Candiace says something like, I don't have a dick at all. And Ashley says something like, you have an oversized clit. And Candiace says, no, that's your friend, pointing towards Mia. And I said, now Candiace, Mia has not said anything to you since she sat down at this dinner table. Why are you now inserting her into an argument by making fun of her clit, even though she did tell us that she had to have that shit rejuvenated? Why would you involve this innocent bystander that has chosen to leave you alone because she didn't be read to filth in this conversation? You still picking on her. You said you would leave her ass alone. You're not doing what you said you were going to do. And Ashley now keeps going in on her. Mia then tries to say something about the fights, and Candiace tells her, don't embarrass your benefactor, bitch. This ain't about you. Shut up. But Candiace, you just talked about her clit. Now she's speaking, and you're telling her to be quiet because this ain't about to get nothing to do with her, and that she just needs to worry about her benefactor. And then G tries to open his mouth about how Mia was the one who made him. But I remember Mia telling us that it was G's company that she kind of inserted herself into and took over while he became a stay-at-home dad. So G, you lying. So, this entire situation, I think he was trying to defend his wife, and he made a conscious effort to do so, but Candiace's mouth is reckless, and she will read you. So, I mean, Wendy was right when she said, you haven't experienced Candiace's mouth yet, so you better be careful what you're saying. And then Candiace basically addresses Ashley and said, I'm never going to have any respect for you, because when that whole situation happened with Monique, you keep bringing that shit up. You involved yourself illegally because you took the opportunity to get back at me, because Ashley was friends with Monique and not friends with Candiace, and she felt like probably Candiace deserved to get her ass beat, and so Ashley did what she did. And so Candiace is like, I would never respect you, I would never want to talk to you. And Ashley, when Candiace gets up to go and check on Chris, finally, Ashley's now talking to Giselle and Robin, and Giselle decides to go into confessional saying, you know, Candiace went through a lot last year, and it doesn't seem like she learned anything. I said, bitch, I told y'all when y'all were trying to gang up on Monique's ass and make her seem like she was just this aggressive black person that had no self-control, bitch. You tried to say that you needed some security guards to be around her, that she was too violent, you couldn't be around her without feeling scared for your life, bitch. You tried to make Monique look like Monique was just this person who had no self-control, destroying her character because she whooped somebody's ass who asked to be whooped. Now, flash forward, you're sitting up here seeing your friend who you went to bat for because she was boo-hooing, calling the courts and going to the police and doing all the shit she was doing. How you feel now? Because you see that Candiace ain't changed, right? You look stupid, Giselle. Shut up. And that's how this episode ended. So they showed next episode and what's going to happen. I didn't really pay too much attention to it because I was tired and I need to go find some food. But this episode was great. It was juicy. I enjoyed it. What you guys think? Leave your comments below. Like, subscribe, and notification bell. I'm going to go ahead and watch Salt Lake City and go ahead and do that review. And you guys have a good rest of your day.